I grew up in New York City and Long Island in the summers, and from there I went to Switzerland for school and then came back to the States, went to school in Massachusetts, and then went to school in Denver and loved the mountains. Following school in Denver, I moved to Breckenridge. I found out about the job at Climax when I was skiing at Cooper because they had a free ski day, and I came over to ski, and someone on the lift had said they'd just been hired at Climax. So I applied for a job on my trip home, and next thing I knew, I'd been hired. Everyone was hired on at Climax as a laborer, and you went through a 30-day probationary period. I was put on the concrete crew, first woman ever to make the 30 days on concrete because it was a very difficult crew, heavy pipes and stuff. From concrete, I changed a lot because I like learning the new things and seeing different aspects of working underground. After I worked on the muck crew, which is pretty much the most exciting crew because muck crews competed against one another to see who could haul the most ore. And so that one was the most exciting one. Repair crew, you did a little bit of everything. Track crew, you worked on the track. I was on 600 level mostly, even though I think I worked on Stork at some point. After 8 years underground, I went out to the open pit. And in the open pit, I ran the big trucks. I probably started driving trucks, and from there I learned a front-end loader, huge front-end loader. The trucks hauled 170 tons of ore, so they were huge, and drove a water truck there, and then I went back underground just for a little bit before being laid off. To change jobs, you were trained on-the-job training in different jobs. If you wanted to make more money, you got day rated in different positions, which were a higher pay. So the shift boss, if there was an opening, would always ask at the start of shift if you wanted to day rate in a different job. And by day rating, you learned the different job. Muck crew and driving a train, I guess you spent a day or two with another person showing you how to do it, and you learned that way. So it was all pretty much on-the-job training for what I did anyway. No skills were required to learn the job. The hardest skill was being able to get along with everyone, especially as a minority, as a woman, getting along with all the men who were constantly not harassing, but teasing and having fun with you. As far as changes with equipment and everything, I didn't notice much underground. It seemed like the trains never upgraded or anything. It stayed the same as much as I can recall. But out in the open pit, the first truck I learned to drive was a 120-ton truck. It seems while I was in the open pit, the equipment changed in that they got to a larger truck, a 170-ton truck, which 50 tons, I guess, made it faster to haul the ore. So that was one change I did see. The best part about working at Climax in the mine was the camaraderie. Even though I was teased constantly being one of the first 10 women underground by the men, the fun that we had on shifts and the friendships that you made definitely made the job great. The worst thing about working at Climax were the shift change. Personally, I found it very difficult to work 7 days graveyard, have so many days off, go back at swing shift. My body didn't like adjusting to the changing shifts, and it was very difficult. That was the hardest part about it. The one close call I had was when I was working on the muck crew, which is the producer of the ore and movement of the ore. I was working the ore pass, which means the ore coming out of the finger is coming from the level above, so it reacts differently from a regular finger. And when it doesn't run and you can't move the oar, you have to go with a bomb stick and kind of poke around the finger to get the oar to drop and start moving again. Well, you always have to have someone with you. That was a safety regulation. So if someone was up in the finger with me, but I poked, the oar came running down, and I got trapped by the oar against the slusher, which is just a shovel that you use to move the oar to the draw hole where the train is below, and you pull it and it falls into the train. I wasn't hurt, but it was a scare. The first time down in the mine, I don't have a recollection of any impact other than thinking my grandfather, who owned a coal mine in Pennsylvania, the Moffett Coal Company, I'm proud of that because Moffat's my middle name, was probably rolling over in his grave because coal miners did not think it was good luck. Actually thought it was bad luck to have women underground. And there I was underground, his granddaughter, working in a mine. The job at Climax Mining, I did enjoy thoroughly. I learned a life lesson. I don't know where else I could learn this lesson. I learned that there isn't anything I can't do if I want to do it. So I love that part of working at Climax.